Alexander is going to present to us his take from Tesla AI's video of Optimus. Alexander, what were your observations from the video?
Yeah, so the Tesla Optimus account shared a 1.5-minute video today on Optimus, obviously. So the video starts up showing Optimus walking. Not that impressive. We seen that before many times by now. They had some written comments on the bottom left corner that said Optimus walk has become more confident. And we kind of knew that already. Otherwise, they wouldn't let Optimus walk among people at the 1010 event, right? Then the video continues, more walking, and it says it can now explore unseen spaces autonomously. This is a bit more impressive, very important capability, because you don't want to map everything in order to use it. Otherwise, it would be a bit like Wamo, and we can't have that, can we? After this, it walks past some people hanging out at the 4680 line. Nice to see that going. Avoiding people and obstacles using neural nets running on its computer, all while capturing visual cues specific to its environment. So cues specific to its environment is basically door, box, table, and so on. This is not the same thing as true object recognition, in my opinion. It's more like being aware that there's something that you shouldn't walk into, kind of like we humans navigate the world. We don't need to know that what an object is to avoid it. Then they show us some 3D map, and it says, together, multiple bots build and shared understanding of their surroundings. And that makes sense. A pre-mapped area is less intensive to process, I guess. Then they show us some really cool stuff. The charger hanging on the wall. And Optimus leans against the wall and docks with the charger. I kind of hope they put the charge port in the ass for the memes, but I guess we can't have everything, can we? After this, we see Optimus picking up a tray of 4680 cells. And according to the comments, it weighs 11 kilograms. Note that they are using metric units. Blink, blink. For industry, this is pretty decent. However, we don't know how far from this body it can hold this weight without falling over. Reach is pretty important if you want to work inside factory, obviously. Then we see something new again. Optimus walk up a stair. However, through most of the video, it says autonomously on the upper right. But during this segment, it didn't show autonomously. So I guess this was like pre-programmed in some kind of way. In the end, they show us Optimus behind the counter, handing bags and drinks to people on request, just like we saw on the 1010 event. But I'm pretty sure the 1010 event was mostly teleoperated, including this segment. But it's nice to see that they actually have this capability to do it autonomously. Overall, I think Optimus is getting more useful every day, and they have come a long way since we saw Optimus for the first time 2 years ago.
Okay, very good. We have hands, we have new speakers. We're going to dig into this some more, Alexander. I hope you're ready for questioning, interrogation, shall I say. So did this video change your opinion at all about the capability of Optimus after so you had a view after the Robotaxi Unveiled event, the We Robot event. Did the video that Tesla shared this morning change your view at all about where the Optimus program is?
Yeah, because I thought mostly the cool stuff they were showing us before was mostly teleoperated, and they didn't have this capability. To like walk around within an area that is not pre-mapped is pretty impressive to navigate the world. Yeah, so that part was really impressive. and also handing out the bags and stuff that they can actually do this autonomously. However, I don't think it's like they can't do this 99.9% of the times successfully. Otherwise, they would have used this for the 1010 event to do it autonomously, I guess.
Okay, so you're telling me that even though Tesla can demonstrate this capability in a recorded video, because the reliability is not super high at this time, they probably use teleoperation at the 1010 We Robot event. Is that a fair summary of your position?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I ask you before I go to the hands, what gives you so much confidence that Tesla actually used teleoperation and the robots were not actually autonomous at the event?
Because you could see those slight movements that humans do, because we are not like standing 100% still. We are actually moving our arms a bit, and that was exactly what Optimus did at the 1010 event. So that I don't think you would program this in. So that was human movement for sure.
Okay, thank you, Alexander. That was a great summary, and I appreciate you answering questions. You are now our director of robotics. The other director, called Machine, is fired for lack of attendance. And maybe when he comes back here, we can break the news to him. So let's go to
Do
these
I get a
hands.
raise?
Yeah, exactly. I will double your pay. Neil, go ahead.
Yeah, so just wanted to ask, given the 1010 event, would this board, I'm interested in whether people believe the humanoid robot is a hardware problem or a software problem. I believe it is a software problem. I have for a while, but I think this event further reinforces that. So that's my question. Is this just a software problem at this point?
Alexander.
It is kind of both, but mostly a software problem. Obviously, you need a hardware to run the models needed to do everything that Optimus is set to do. So, but mostly I would say it's a software problem.
Ellie.
I just gotta say, for me, it feels like we just finished the area where they were working on the engineering problem. And at the 1010 event, basically, they showed us that they finished with the engineering, and now we're gonna see some AI improvements within the next few months.
Alexander, do you agree with Ellie's position that Tesla finished the hardware side of things and now it's all about software?
Yeah, maybe. This might not be the final version of Optimus, because when you're gonna go into production and produce a lot of units, you have to optimize the parts for production. So there might be slight changes, but yeah, I think mostly they are finished with the hardware.
Okay, so Alexander believes mostly Tesla's finished. I don't know. I mean, there's always challenges ahead. There's always improvements to be made. As the robot is not even in production yet. So they're going to do some testing at Tesla's factories and the hardware will continue to improve. But yeah, thank you very much, Ali, for the question and Alexander for that position. Let's go to Hustle Town. We're going to focus on this topic for another 10 minutes or so. Hustle Town, go ahead.
I was just curious, what would Alexander deem the next step in the hardware of Optimus? Is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing them showcase in particular?
Yeah, true object recognition. So you can't just go for like, this is a box, I can't walk into it. You need to understand what parts you can actually move and what you can pick up. And I don't think they have that capability yet. Maybe they can train on certain forms on objects, but they can't, like, in a general way, understand all objects in the world.
Thank you. Neil.
Yeah, and I just wanted to quickly qualify my statement about a hardware problem because I think inefficient software drives heavy hardware, right? If the software is truly mature and effective, it can use the effective hardware. So yeah, so the software could have a hardware problem. right? That's possibly true. It could drain too much power, do things for the bot. But yeah, I think ultimately that's a temporary thing. And so, just question comment is, do you think, from a bot perspective, I think the bot hardware is good enough for, to be released. So is it likely that the software has a hardware problem? If you know what I mean? Thanks.
Alexander?
Yeah, you can't know that the hardware is ready for release because you don't know the wear and tear on all the parts. So they will find out that maybe, oh, we can't use this kind of sealant because the seal actually breaks and dirt and schmutz comes into the parts. So I don't know about that part. About the software question, I mean, if you look at early ChatGPT models, there were like 18 billion parameters, and you look at GPT 4.0 is like 200 billion parameters. So obviously performance, if you want greater performance, you want bigger models. So the hardware maybe needs, you maybe need to increase the compute power.
Wessex.
Yeah, I would echo what everybody's saying. It now is a software problem, but initially you had to get the hardware right. They're on the third version right now. And the reason why you got to get the hardware right first is because you can change software just on the fly. But once you kind of lock in the build for the robot, you don't have a lot. It's not easy to make a lot of changes after that. So after 3 iterations, they learned a lot, and they'll certainly learn more. The question is what do they not know right now that might create version 4, and et cetera down the road.
Thank you, Wessex. And we have a insightful reply from Brian McCormack, a good supporter of the space, who says, hardware is not final. New hand coming. It's both hardware and software problems still. Thank you, Brian. Let's go to Ellie.
I feel like we can agree that basically the engineering stage, the hardware stage, will never be finished. Just like Model 3 will always be refreshed, or maybe Model Y, whatever. What I want to bring up to the table right now is the fact that it will be charged at the moment without wireless charging. So basically some connector. That's what we saw. Do you think, Alexander, that's a big, is it significant if it will be wireless or just connecting via cable or the plug-in, whatever we saw?
Alexander?
The charger?
Yeah, do you think wireless charging will play a role with the Optimus program, just like with the vehicle program?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe if it stands working at same spot, you might have standing on a charging plate might make sense actually, because then you don't have downtime while the Optimus is charging. But I mean, if it's in the same spot, you could like plug it in, or have it in the charge station, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting point here is that wired charging will probably be more efficient than wireless charging, even if slightly. So does it make sense to introduce wireless charging for Optimus? I guess it would have to be through the feet, right? I don't know. That's an open question. We can have that debate on an ongoing basis. Tesla obviously introduced wired charging with Optimus going back, leaning back onto a charger onto the wall. So it sounds like they're going to wire charging with for now. Let's go to Dallas and Neil.
Yeah, I don't see what difference it makes because it's a humanoid robot, right? So at the end of the day, if it's a wire or not, it's just going to plug itself in. So I don't know that any of that matters.
Yeah, and it also
Okay.
has to stand still, like both when it's charging, but cable and wireless.
Okay, great. Neil?
Yeah, I don't know how we train this, but I'm just wondering why we don't have more arms. 2 arms are great. I wished for a third. Maybe I'd like to have 4, but I think a 4-armed robot would be much more effective. So I'm just wondering, it's humanoid, not human. So I'd like to get this board's thought on when the next, is adding arms the next thing?
Alexander?
then you will need a bigger battery pack, and it will be more energy, consume more energy.
Very good. Very good, insightful. Alexander, you're doing so well. Very good. Wessex.
Yeah, but also add cost. You know, it's probably diminishing returns to add a third arm and then a fourth arm, et cetera. So I think cost would be a factor.
Good. Ellie?
I feel like also the acceptance from the audience, from the people, from the the kids and adults. That's important. The visualization.
Absolutely. I agree, Ellie. That's a great point too, because I actually, as we discussed in AI amateurs, there's a resistance from the society in accepting AI and robotics in general. And a robot with 3-4 hands would be a bit more scary than 2 hands, I guess. Neil, and now Wessex.
I would just like to say quickly, I think it's more fear than practicality because I believe if we deep dive on the practicality of a 4-armed humanoid, it may just be better than us. So I guess we can take a coffee bet on that.
Justin Strach says in YouTube live chat, a 4-armed humanoid would play the drums super wicked. And he says it could come with a backpack and a range extender. Wessex.
You know, I really think there will be other form factors down the road, not necessarily 3 arms, but perhaps something that's industry specific, maybe something super large for carrying items that this particular form factor can't carry. Kind of just like the automobile business has cars and vans, different things like that. I can see that happening.
Very good. And Hustletown has a great insight that he dropped in YouTube live chat too. Hustletown, would you like to repeat it on X?
Sure, I just wanted to say we're going to leave all the aftermarket software and hardware to the individuals that are going to customize this. We're going to treat them like stormtroopers, not stormtroopers, but the clone troopers, and then afterwards, we're going to have them be specific and specialized.
Very good. Alexander.
Yeah, it might actually make sense to make a bigger Optimus that can lift higher weights and stuff. So maybe we will see a big mutus, enormous, something like that.
Yeah, maybe down the line. All right. Dallas.
Yeah, real quick, Alexander, I have a question for you. I know a lot of people were harping on the fact that they were, teleoperated or whatever. But I think there's a market there, right? So long term, if these robots are super capable, as we're already seeing, don't you think there's going to be a market for people who want to use them as some sort of, real world avatar situation where they stay home and they're interacting with the world through an Optimus, controlling it themselves?
Surrogates. Have you seen the movie? Depressing, but yeah, I mean, for the work I do or for the company that I work for, we have like service guys running around the whole of Sweden to service machines and stuff, and sometimes they can sit in like 4 hours, 5 hours a day in a car. If you could like plug into an Optimus and do the work from the office, I mean, that would be great.
We have another great insight in YouTube live chat from Truth to a T, another great supporter of Tesla Live, who says 4 arms add weight and less balance. So it really complicates things if you have these, Tesla's going for high volume, low cost due to high volume. So they want to come up with a design that they can scale. And I think Hustletown's point about leaving these extra appendages to the aftermarket crowd makes a lot of sense too. Great.